Hey there, fellow bookworms and banter buddies. Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we take those books everyone's buzzing about, the ones you're, maybe eyeing on your shelf. We give you the inside scoop. Today's pick, The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, oh, another self-help book, hold on.
Yeah.
This one's been sparking conversations, raising eyebrows for over 2 decades. Trust me, whether you're a man, woman, or somewhere in between, there's something in here for you.
It's not your typical relationship advice book. Deida dives deep into the essence of masculine and feminine energy, how they interact, and how understanding this dance can lead to more fulfilling lives and relationships. Buckle up, though, because he's not afraid to tackle some controversial topics along the way.
All right, so let's get this straight right off the bat. Superior man doesn't mean we're talking about six-pack abs and dominating boardrooms, right?
Yeah.
What's Deida's vision here?
Yeah, he's definitely challenging those stereotypical ideas of masculinity. For Deida, the superior man isn't about outward appearances or power dynamics. It's about cultivating a deep inner strength, living with purpose, and ultimately magnifying love in every aspect of your life.
Magnifying love, that's interesting. So it's less about fitting into a box and more about embracing this, I guess you could say, evolved masculinity.
Exactly. Deida believes a true superior man embraces both his masculine and feminine energies.
Okay.
He's comfortable with strength and vulnerability, action and receptivity. It's about finding that balance within yourself.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this book has stirred up so much debate. So if it's not about conforming to these rigid, almost cartoonish ideas of what a man should be, what does Deida actually suggest men do to embody this superior man ideal?
He emphasizes self-awareness as the foundation. The superior man is deeply in tune with his emotions, his motivations, even his shadow side. Those parts of ourselves we often try to hide.
Wait, shadow side? Okay, now you have to elaborate on that.
Yeah. Deida believes we all have this darker aspect, the fears, the aggression, even the urges we might consider unacceptable. He says that ignoring these parts of ourselves only makes them fester and potentially manifest in unhealthy ways.
So instead of sweeping those things under the rug, he's saying, hey, look at them, acknowledge them, maybe even learn from them. That's a pretty bold approach.
It is, and it's certainly not for everyone. But he argues that by facing those shadow aspects, men can actually integrate them into their wholeness, become more authentic and powerful individuals.
So there's this internal journey of self-discovery that's crucial to Deida's whole concept. Now, where do relationships fit into all of this? Because I know that's a big part of the book.
Relationships. Deida believes that relationships are a powerful catalyst for growth, a sort of crucible where men can truly test and refine their superior man qualities.
But he's also known for his, let's say, unique take on the dynamics between men and women. For someone just cracking open this book, what should they expect in terms of Deida's relationship philosophy?
Well, he argues that men and women have fundamentally different core desires. Men, he says, crave freedom and purpose, while women seek love and connection. And these inherent differences, he believes, are both the source of intense attraction and the potential for major clashes.
Okay, so right away we're diving into some potentially controversial territory.
Yeah.
Does Deida believe these differing desires doom relationships to constant conflict?
Not necessarily. He acknowledges that these differences can lead to misunderstandings and power struggles, especially if they're not acknowledged and navigated consciously. But he also suggests that by understanding and respecting these differences, couples can actually create a more passionate and fulfilling dynamic.
I'm already sensing this is going to be a wild ride through Deida's world. We've just scratched the surface of the way of the superior man. We unpacked the idea of who the superior man is and hinted at Deida's often controversial views on relationships.
Stay tuned, because in part 2, we're going to dive headfirst into some of those controversial topics, from Deida's take on men's desires for multiple partners to his views on age preferences and sexuality. Get ready for things to get spicy. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're wading deeper into the waters of The Way of the Superior Man. And as promised, things are about to get a little intense.
All right, spill the tea. What's got everyone so riled up about Deida's views?
Well, let's address the elephant in the room. Deida suggests that it's natural for men to desire multiple partners, even if they're deeply committed to one woman.
Okay, whoa, hold on. Isn't that just a free pass for guys to cheat?
Not quite. Deida acknowledges that acting on those desires often leads to complications and heartbreak. His point is more about honesty and self-awareness.
Okay.
He's saying that suppressing those urges, pretending they don't exist, can actually lead to more unhealthy behaviors in the long run.
So it's more about acknowledging those feelings, having that open dialogue with yourself and your partner, rather than just burying them and hoping they go away.
Exactly. It's about understanding the complexity of desire and making conscious choices, even if those choices are tough.
I could see how that could be a game changer in terms of communication and trust in a relationship.
Mhm.
But let's be real, this is one of those areas where Deida's critics really come out swinging.
And rightfully so. It's a delicate topic, and his views can definitely be misconstrued.
Yeah.
It's crucial to remember he's not advocating for infidelity. He's simply acknowledging a reality about male desire that often goes unspoken.
All right, so that's one hot button issue.
Yeah.
What else has people buzzing?
Well, Deida's views on age preferences. He openly expresses a preference for younger women, attributing it to their radiance and vitality.
Ooh, yeah, that's a tough one. It's hard to hear that and not feel like he's reducing women to their age and appearance.
It's a valid concern, and his language in this area definitely needs a critical lens.
Yeah.
It's important to acknowledge that this perspective can perpetuate harmful stereotypes, but to understand Deida's point, we need to look at how he defines radiance. He sees it as an energetic quality, a kind of aliveness that can be especially strong in younger women. But he also says it's not limited to youth.
So it's not just about physical appearance, but something deeper.
Right. Deida describes radiance as an openness, a connection to life force, a vibrant energy that draws people in. And while he associates it with youth, he also says it can evolve and deepen with age. He talks about older women developing a different kind of power and wisdom.
Okay, so there's some nuance there. It's not a black and white younger equals better equation, but I still think it's important to be cautious with this concept of radiance. It can easily slip into those tired tropes about women's value being tied to their youthfulness.
Absolutely. It's crucial to challenge those assumptions and be mindful of the potential harm that kind of language can perpetuate.
Now, shifting gears a bit, Deida also talks about sexual energy in a way that's pretty unique, to say the least.
Yeah.
He uses this phrase, ejaculate up the spine, and for someone who hasn't read the book, that probably sounds, well, strange.
Definitely not your typical self-help jargon. Deida sees sexual energy as a powerful force that, for men especially, can either be wasted or harnessed for personal growth.
Okay, unpack that for us. What does he mean by wasting sexual energy?
He argues that most men lose this energy through ejaculation, which can lead to a feeling of depletion, lack of focus, almost a spiritual drain. And his ejaculate up the spine metaphor is about redirecting that energy inwards and upwards, channeling it towards higher pursuits.
So it's not about abstaining from sex altogether.
Not necessarily. It's about becoming more conscious of that energy and using it in a way that empowers rather than depletes. Deida provides specific practices and techniques aimed at cultivating this mastery over sexual energy.
Now, that's something you don't typically hear in your average relationship advice column. I imagine some people find this whole concept a bit too out there.
It definitely requires an open mind. But Deida believes this type of self-mastery can lead to increased vitality, creativity, and a deeper connection to your purpose.
All right, so we've got some spicy topics on the table. Men's desire for multiple partners, age preferences, and redirecting sexual energy. Deida isn't afraid to push boundaries and make people think.
And that's what makes The Way of the Superior Man such a compelling read, even if you don't agree with everything he says. It forces you to examine your own beliefs about relationships, masculinity, and what it means to live a truly fulfilling life.
Definitely a lot to unpack here. In the final part, we'll step back from the controversy and explore what practical takeaways, if any, listeners can glean from this book, even if they don't subscribe to all of Deida's philosophies.
We'll delve into his insights on living with purpose, cultivating presence, and navigating the complexities of relationships in a conscious way. Stay tuned for part 3, where we wrap up our deep dive into The Way of the Superior Man.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've explored some seriously thought-provoking and, let's be honest, sometimes eyebrow-raising ideas from The Way of the Superior Man. But now, let's shift gears a bit. Even if you don't agree with every single thing Deida says, and trust me, we get it, some of his stuff is out there. Are there still valuable takeaways from this book? Can we sift through the controversy and find those nuggets of wisdom that might actually apply to our lives?
I think what's fascinating about Deida's work is that even if you disagree with his more provocative claims, there's a core message about personal growth, conscious relationships, and living with purpose that really resonates deeply.
So let's talk takeaways. For someone who's maybe on the fence about reading this book, what are the key insights they might gain regardless of their gender or relationship status?
One of the most powerful takeaways is the importance of self-awareness. Data is constantly challenging us to examine our motivations, our fears, our deepest desires. That inner work is crucial, whether you're trying to understand your relationship patterns or figure out your purpose in life.
It's like he's holding up a mirror and saying, hey, take a good look at yourself. The good, the bad, the messy.
Exactly. And that kind of self-reflection can be incredibly uncomfortable, but also incredibly liberating. It allows us to make more conscious choices and create a life that's truly aligned with who we are.
Another big theme in The Way of the Superior Man is this idea of embracing both masculine and feminine energy within ourselves. And Dee is pretty specific about the qualities associated with each.
He links masculine energy to purpose, direction, taking action in the world. Feminine energy, on the other hand, is about receptivity, flowing with the present moment, connecting deeply with emotions.
It's not about conforming to these rigid gender roles. He's saying we all have both these energies within us.
Right, and finding a balance between those energies is crucial, both for personal fulfillment and for creating healthy relationships.
Now, we talked earlier about Deida's emphasis on a man's purpose being paramount, even coming before his relationship. That can rub some people the wrong way. But is there a way to interpret this idea in a way that doesn't feel like you're neglecting your partner?
I think if we look at this concept from a different angle, it's about recognizing that when a man is deeply connected to his purpose, when he's living a life that feels meaningful, he's actually able to show up more fully in his relationships.
So it's not about choosing one over the other, but rather understanding that investing in your own growth ultimately benefits your relationship as well.
Exactly. And for women, it's about recognizing that a man's drive for purpose isn't a rejection of her, but an essential part of who he is.
Deida also talks a lot about the importance of cultivating presence, both in your personal life and in the world. What does that actually look like in practice?
It's about being fully engaged in the present moment, rather than getting lost in distractions or worries or regrets. It's about bringing your full attention to everything you do, whether it's listening to your partner, pursuing your passions, or simply appreciating the beauty around you.
So it's about slowing down, savoring each experience, and really being there, fully present.
Exactly. And Daida believes that cultivating this kind of presence leads to a richer, more meaningful life.
All right, so we've explored some of Daida's core ideas. We've waded through the controversy, unpacked the complex concepts, and hopefully distilled some practical takeaways. But at the end of the day, this book is really about starting a conversation.
It's about challenging your assumptions, questioning societal norms, and ultimately defining what it means to be a superior human being, regardless of gender.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into The Way of the Superior Man, we want to hear from you. What resonated with you? What challenged you? What insights will you take with you on your own journey of self-discovery and growth?
Keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts, challenge the ideas, and explore how Daida's work, even the parts that might make you bristle, can spark a deeper understanding of yourself and your relationships.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.